Tesla stock is falling because of price cuts by 14,000 yuan in the Chinese market on Model Y long range and performance vehicles. Aside from the price cuts, customers also have the incentive of receiving a grant of 8,000 yuan if they complete a Model 3 vehicle order by the 30th of September. With this news coming out when the markets were shut, we've seen that Tesla stock in pre-market trading has dropped by about 2.9%. But now the markets have literally just opened. They opened 7 minutes ago, and already Tesla stock is down by 3.26% today. So why are Tesla actually cutting their prices of their Model Y vehicles in China? Should we be concerned? Is this worrying news, or actually is this just a really great buying opportunity? Firstly, what I will say is that other automotive companies that serve the Chinese market have recently been doing a very similar thing. There was a company just last week and then one earlier on in the month that have been cutting their prices as well. And Tesla is now playing the price cut game again too. Joanna Cheng, an analyst from Bloomberg Intelligence, has said that price competition has been and will remain an ongoing theme in China's auto market. I said it before, but it's great that Tesla's profit margins are good enough to allow them the flexibility to cut the prices of their vehicles as and when they need or want to. So one reason they may be cutting their prices is just because other companies are doing so and it makes sense on a competitive level. But also maybe there are new products coming to market very soon and therefore they are trying to get rid of their old inventory. I've seen this idea linger around on social media a little bit. It would be really exciting. Now, I don't know if that's the primary reason that they're doing these price cuts or not, but it's definitely a possibility. Another reason could be that there is increasing competition from BYD. And I know this is the primary concern that people have. People are worried that there's just not enough demand for Tesla vehicles in the Chinese market with all the other options that they have, especially those coming from BYD. Now, I don't really feel like this is the case. I think that it's more of an affordability issue rather than a demand issue. When it comes to EV sales on a global level, on a global scale, Tesla is leading the way. But when it comes to which companies are leading the way in China, the Chinese market specifically, BYD is leading. BYD is China's largest automaker. I've seen some news recently about how Tesla sales in the Chinese market are really going down. They're plummeting. It's all downhill from here on out. There's not enough demand. There's too much competition. You know, Tesla stock is going to fall. Tesla's going to fail in this market. The headlines paint a really negative picture and they do so really well. And on face value, you could get quite concerned about this. But when you start to dive into it a little bit deeper and do some research, you start to see that actually the headlines aren't really the truth of the matter. And I saw a tweet from Gary Black explaining this really, really well. So I spoke about it in my last video, but let me just share it here again in case any of you are really concerned about this. He basically pointed out that Bank of America are making a way bigger deal about Tesla's Chinese July delivery figures than actually need be. The figures showed that Tesla deliveries were down by 31% month over month in July, but actually Gary pointed out that this was a normal expected skew. And typically Tesla actually export the vehicles that they make in China to the European markets and other markets to meet the demand there during the first month of Q1 each year. Then they look to satisfy the Chinese market in the last month of each quarter. And this results in a seasonal skew of Tesla Chinese deliveries, where the first month of the quarter is much lower than the third month of the quarter. He also went on to show that this 31% decrease is actually the smallest first month of the quarter month over month decline that Tesla have seen in the last 2 years. So do I think that there is competition for Tesla in the Chinese market? Yes, I do. I believe BYD is a massive, massive player and they are competition for Tesla in that market. But do I feel like they are getting no sales and it's all downhill from here and they're really forced to do these price cuts as like a last hope mechanism, otherwise they're going to go bust? Not at all. Another reason that they may be doing these price cuts is just simply because they can. They are able to, therefore they are taking the option to do so. By cutting prices, they are able to sell more vehicles because a vehicle then becomes more affordable to the general public. And if affordability is an issue in the Chinese market, then this makes complete sense, especially if other automakers are doing a similar thing. And if they are able to increase volume sold, then this helps them work towards their overall mission. As well as this, they may be trying to just capture as much of the market share in the Chinese market as they possibly can, and then they may try to get even more of it when they release a cheaper compact EV vehicle in the future, or before a potential Model 3 revamp vehicle takes place, which is given the code name of Project Highland. Tesla stock is actually down by over 16% in the last month alone, and 4.8% in the last 5 days. So it is currently experiencing a period of weakness in the stock. If this news continues to cause further sell-offs, we can expect to see the stock price dip even lower. However, this could be very, very short-term drops in the stock price. There are many catalysts, and we're going to speak about them at the end of this video, coming up for Tesla that could potentially, and no one really knows, but they could potentially cause a really big surge in the stock price. For example, the Cybertruck and Project Highland. But like I said, we'll talk about that more at the end of the video. So am I concerned about these price cuts and therefore the stock price decline? Not at all. I'm actually seeing this as an opportunity. Already, whilst the market's been open, I have purchased more Tesla shares today. But a lot of people are concerned and saying that the margins are being cut, and this is concerning for Tesla and for investors. I don't really feel like this is the case because the margins, the profit margins on the vehicles are still market leading. They're still extremely, extremely good. And there is a much bigger mission here. Tesla are not only getting the revenues that they need from selling their vehicles in the Chinese market, it's much larger than that. They have the potential to license FSD once they've solved it. And we're getting really, really close to that point now. And then they can also build a robo-taxi fleet, which I've spoken about before, so I'm not going to go into it, but that's going to generate so much more money for them than just selling their vehicles. And also, this has happened before. We have seen price cuts happen for Tesla many times, and nearly every time it has caused an immediate stock price decline. But that doesn't just stay that way. The stock doesn't just carry on falling because, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, Tesla is a really good quality company, and I'm planning to hold this stock for the long term. And I know that the short market volatility is a buying opportunity, and the stock price will go up again in the future. There is a difference between the price that we see on the screen whilst the market is open and the intrinsic value of the company over many, many decades. In November and January, actually, Tesla cut the prices of Model Y and Model 3 vehicles in China quite significantly, which was one reason for the start of the price war that we are seeing in China. The price cuts all in all did pretty well. They did what they set out to do and they stimulated sales. Maybe it was a signal to people that were waiting and couldn't really afford a vehicle, but then the price cuts happened, so they sort of took that opportunity and actually went ahead and purchased an EV, a Tesla EV in particular. But it did what it needed to do. And like I've just alluded to, if you look back at those times in the stock price, the short term was that the stock price plummeted. It took a plunge, but it then recovered, and more so. And there was a lot of noise. But actually, when you look back now as a Tesla investor, you can see that that was a really good buying opportunity. When everyone else was freaking out and saying Tesla's over, they're having to cut the prices, blah, 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 blah. The people that actually purchased at them prices then saw a really good return on that investment. So instead of talking about this negatively, because I do believe that a lot of people will be really worried, I'm going to share some really strong catalysts that are coming up for Tesla. And hopefully what this will do is it will help you to see this stock in more of a long-term way. So instead of just listening to all the market noise that will be happening around these price cuts, to actually take Tesla as an entire company. So not just look at what they are doing in the Chinese market with one little part of their business, but actually look at them as an entire company and what catalysts have the potential to really surge the stock price in the future. Now, I'm not trying to say that cutting the prices of their vehicles is no big deal. Of course it is. But I don't believe it needs to be as concerning and I don't think that people need to be as panicked about it as some of the news articles make out. So we've got Project Highland, which is the code name for the revamp of the Model 3 vehicle. And I've seen some speculation that deliveries may be coming to the Chinese market for this vehicle in September. And this vehicle is meant to come with a decrease in production cost, which means that Tesla could have a very good profit margin on these. Then we have the potential for an entirely new vehicle, a lower costing, compact EV. Now, this is the one that was spoken about a while ago, about a $25,000 vehicle. I think that was the figure given to it. Anyway, this is all speculation. This hasn't been confirmed, but there are good reasons to believe that this could happen in the near to mid-term future. We've also got the Cybertruck deliveries to begin very shortly, and that's going to be really exciting. I believe the bottleneck right now is probably waiting on the 4680 battery production to really scale up to actually support the Cybertruck deliveries, but it's coming. We of course have more progress on solving FSD. This is constantly taking place. Constantly the systems and the software is learning more. It's getting better and better and better. We're seeing more come out about it. We're seeing more people showing their vehicles actually driving using the latest FSD software. So it's super exciting stuff. And once this happens, there is potential for them to license their FSD software out to other companies. Elon Musk has already said that he's more than happy to do that. And that could be a very, very good revenue stream. And then obviously moving forward past that in the long term, well, mid to long term, is the robo-taxi fleet that could be produced as well. We've also got Giga Mexico, which is the brand new Gigafactory located in Mexico that's just been breaking ground and really starting, well, we think starting to go under construction, which is very exciting, will really help Tesla scale up again. I did speak about this in my last video, so I'll link it up here if you're interested, but it won't just stop here. There's going to be more gigafactories in the future, maybe the next one even in India. We've also got the megapacks, so the energy side of Tesla's business is really starting to ramp up, and the megapacks in particular are very, very in demand. And that area of the business, I believe, is going to really go crazy soon. It's just a matter of time. Then further down the line, like I said, we've got the robo-taxi, we've got the FSD service as a software potential, we've got Dojo, we've got Optimus, which is the Tesla bot. There's probably a few other things that I'm missing out here, but lots and lots of things coming up for Tesla. So what am I doing? Well, I'm going to continue to purchase Tesla stock. I do this regularly anyway. I sort of take a dollar cost averaging approach into this stock because I know I want to accumulate as many shares for the long term. This is a long-term position for me. But if the stock price drops even more on this news, then I'm going to be accumulating as many shares as I can afford and put in maybe some more money than I normally would into this position whilst it's falling, just making the most of that opportunity presented. But I'm not really too concerned about these price cuts and about the profit margins dropping because, like I said, there's so much more going on. But I'll continue to buy more Tesla stock, I imagine, every single week. If it drops even further, I'll probably buy even more, but I will let all my Patreon members know as and when I buy any new stock in my portfolio. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video has helped calm you down if you were panicking. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you again. I'll see you in another video.